Hello and welcome to the chesscreator.com YouTube video channel. In today's video I'm pleased to continue with my series of lectures on the London system. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to all the people that have sent me comments recently and questions and ideas for future videos. I've had lots of requests including GM games, lines where black plays Queen B6, lines against the King's Indian defence. So lots and lots of lines to cover, and I hope you'll be patient with me as I do research and continue to build on this series of lectures. So in today's video I'd like to present a simple trap in the King's Indian defence. If you play the London system 1d4, then very often you will come across the King's Indian defence, and it's well worthwhile being aware of this simple trapping line. It occurs quite simply if black follows the normal book moves without really considering a simple tactic. Okay, so let's get into the details. So if you play the London system or the King's Indian defence, these opening moves will look very familiar. d4, knight f6, knight f3, g6, and here black signals their intention to fianchetto their dark square bishop at castle kingside and basically play for e5. White continues with bishop f4, bishop g7, e3, castles. Now here, in previous videos, you've probably seen that the white's light square bishop very often gets developed to d3. Here we see against the King's Indian defence it's more logical to either play bishop e2 or bishop c4, predominantly because bishop d3 just has the bishop pointing against this these two pawns here, and so it has a very limited scope. So against King's Indian defence, the first simple tip, which we'll cover in a later video in more detail, is to develop the bishop to e2. So here black continues with the standard King's Indian plan. d6, white plays h3, giving a retreat square for the dark square bishop. Knight bd7, and black is really continuing to play in support of an e5 push. Here we'll see one potential trapping line if black does that without considering. Castles, rook e8, c4, and here black plays e5. Okay, so how should white proceed in this line? Well, it's d takes e5, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn. And here on the face of it, it looks like white is losing a piece. There are two attackers on the e5 knight and only one defender. However, knight takes e5, and here's the tactic. Queen takes d8, exclamation point. This really forces the rook to recapture, followed by bishop takes e5, and white is a clear pawn ahead for no compensation. So this is well worth learning if you come across the King's Indian defence. A lot of players will just simply play for e5 without really considering the finer points of the position. So I will cut and paste those moves into the description panel of the video, and I hope that's interesting. In future videos I'll cover the King's Indian defence in more detail, cover some GM games, and also cover off one or two other lines that people have requested. So, thanks very much for your time. I hope this chat has been interesting for you, and I hope to talk to you again soon.